Welcome in, Shield Brothers and Shield Maidens, to Shield's Rest. I'm True, and today I'm joined by Mark as we get into our monthly wrap up for the month of July. So let's get into that, starting with our discussion topic, which is going to be the state of Dungeons and Dragons at present. So, Mark, what are your thoughts on Dungeons and Dragons, the game, the whole company situation? What are your thoughts at the moment?
Yeah, first, thank you everyone for watching that will watch and that engages with us in the conversation. But I think for me, one of the things I was looking up and thinking lately was that Gen Con's coming up, and so I looked at kind of what the look aheads have been for D&D in the future, right? And there's a couple of things I think that have maybe been advertised pretty well, but there's like a Stranger Things thing they're doing, and also there's like a new adventure that they put out. I think it's called Heroes of Borderlands or something. So it looks like they're trying to, keep putting out new content, which is great. I will say though, maybe this is a biased opinion, but I think people are moving away from D&D, no matter how much they're trying to keep it out there. But it is the biggest game and name in the game, right? So it's gonna probably linger and be around for a while. But I do think that, in my opinion, there's other games that are worth playing and not straying away from. Yeah, so I mean, there's been a lot of bigger news, right, in the past few months regarding it. And one of the things that I remember from, I guess it's probably been like a year ago when they announced, maybe a year and a half or 2 years, when they announced the one D&D, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
that was supposed to be something really awesome, and it was at first. And then there was the D&D Sigil, the project. It was like the 3D, roll 20 tabletop type thing that I was really excited about, and I was kind of passively keeping an eye on that, but I must have missed it. That in March, they canceled that project, and it's not even continuing. So that was one of the biggest things I was still looking forward to in D&D, and I feel silly for not have realizing that, but yeah, that kind of crushed me. So now I'm like, well, that was kind of the last thing holding me on.
Yeah, no, I was looking forward to that as well because I was like, that would be so cool to have that 3D, really smooth, clean looking tabletop and everything that you can move around and just kind of build for. Definitely disappointed by that one, but I don't know. To the point of everyone moving, not everyone, but a good portion of folks moving away from
All of
it.
us, yeah.
Yeah, all of us at the moment. I mean, I feel
Everyone
that.
understands
I used to
that.
enjoy D&D pretty hardcore, and then I just kept finding other systems that kind of scratch the itches that D&D just never could, and then we just keep getting more games that are kind of bringing in that full package of at least what I'm looking for anyways, that it just doesn't do anymore. And I've looked through the new 2024 D&D stuff just to see if I could be brought back in, and I think they made some good changes. It was just, it felt like it lost a lot of its bite.
Yeah,
So I was kind of,
I didn't buy any of the 2024 stuff.
yeah,
I
don't.
saw like
It's
the PDFs and things, and I just didn't buy them. So
Nah, don't do it. It's not worth it.
yeah.
I feel a
Plus, we
little
had moved away
disappointed,
from
but
D&D really by then, so I was like, well, if we
yeah.
get back into it, they'll be available, right? But
Well, I have the book, so I'm not too worried about it.
there
But
you
and at that point, we'll probably be, actually doing stuff around a physical table by that time. But yeah, it's just like, come on, guys. I don't know if they're able to come back from this as far as the loss of that player base. I mean, you can always find a D&D group almost every single time, but I think that's going to get fewer and fewer as you go. And especially as some of these other ones kind of grow in size, I think you're going to have more of a variety, and it's going to be harder to find just strictly those D&D games, and the availability of those are probably not going to be as overflowing as they used to be. So I'll be curious to see how that changes in the next few years here. But especially with Cosmere coming out and everything, like, that's going to be
go. Yeah.
interesting.
And that's what I was kind of gonna broach this subject next, but yeah, looking at the years ahead for Dungeons and Dragons. I don't want to make any claims because who am I? But when Hasbro took over, and then all the top people are jumping ship, and you're losing 90% of your development team, and there's all these things. It's not looking good, right? So it's already at a struggling point. And I kind of talked with you and the Shield Dress guys about this recently, but it's like, who is gonna keep playing Dungeons and Dragons if not the people that are already like, I don't want to say this, but like famous or known
Yeah.
for it, or like that's their main content, or they've got some reason to play it. I guess is really what I'm getting at. the other people that don't like have a real reason to play Dungeons and Dragons, except for like they're getting together with their friends every weekend and that's the system they know. I think those types of groups are gonna move on. I think it's only gonna be the hardcore, diehard Dungeons and Dragons people that are gonna see it through, and for their sake, I hope that company pulls it together and keeps it good for them. These two things at Gen Con that I mentioned, they're gonna showcase look promising, but like you said, the 2024 stuff was really good here and there, but it still kind of
Yeah.
missed the mark in a way. So, is it
It
too
just
late?
really wasn't enough.
Right.
I just don't think it was enough, and I would be curious to see what they do, and I would love to see Dungeons and Dragons come back in a good way, but just because I mean, come on, they're a great franchise. Like they have so much going on within their content. It's just insane how much they do have at their disposal. So I'd love to see them.
It's just like how successful will they, stay?
Yeah, I would hate to see them on life support to that degree that I suspect that they'll probably be on at that point by the within the next 5-10 years at that point, I think anyways. And again, who am I mean at the end of the day, but still it's just one of those things like the way we see a lot of these other tabletop RPGs start popping up. It's like, I don't know, I think there's a market for a lot of this stuff, but I think there does need to be not necessarily the one to rule them all kind of deal, but I do think there needs to at least be a type 5 that kind of controls most of the market, because let's face it, you should be able to find at least one of those games at any point in time, and then you can get your friends into some of the more indie tabletop RPGs. Because let's face it, a lot of those sound like a lot of fun, like Morkborg. I can't wait to get into that at some point, because that just sounds hilarious.
A lot of those games you don't know like how good they are, how fun they are, or anything until you know about them, and then you put the time in to learn them and play them, just like you did Dungeons and Dragons at one point. And you mentioned like top 5. Realistically, will Dungeons and Dragons stay top 5? Maybe, probably, but will it stay number 1? That'll probably rotate around. And you mentioned Cosmere. I saw a video last night. I was just kind of looking up on some stuff, but Bob the World Builder had a video. I don't remember how old it was, but he was talking about Cosmere a little bit, and I didn't realize that their Kickstarter earned like $15 million. They were like, it was like one of the craziest, Kickstarter successes was for Cosmere, and it was like 15 million or something crazy. And so like I knew Cosmere was out or coming out, but now it's out, right? We got the PDF ourselves that we need to put eyes on, but.
Yeah,
pretty cool to see that be here now. Like how popular will that be, and how well received will that continue to be? So, seems like there's a lot of hype about it.
Yeah, I figured there'd be a lot of hype about it, but I don't know if that'll last through the long term. I know a lot of people are into the books and everything like that, so I'll be curious to see. But I don't think everybody has read the books, anyways, by comparison to
I haven't.
I haven't either, and so like when it came through, everyone was super excited. I'm like, I have no clue what the hell this is.
yeah, same. But we'll see. I'm excited to get eyes on that too, and maybe review it here and there. But other games we've been playing, right? And this is Daggerheart, DC-20. We did kind of play Genesis and the Star Wars thing, so we want to keep expanding, right? You mentioned Morkborg. I'm excited to play that one too, because it seems like a completely different style. That we're maybe not used to. And some of the other ones like Grimwild. I mean, I'm just throwing out names now, but we literally have like a list of 30 or more systems that we like are trying to prioritize. Which ones do we dive into first? Which ones look the most exciting?
Yeah.
And so for those who do watch the channel or will find the channel, hopefully there'll be a smorgasbord of different games that you may have never been exposed to. So it's kind of our goal in a way.
Most definitely, and I think we already do have quite a bit, but the amount that's on that list is insane, because I think the list just keeps expanding, especially as Fry finds more. Every single time I'm just like, my God.
Humble bundles or whatever he's getting.
Yeah.
Like 30 PDFs for $10. Yeah.
Then he just starts reading through them and he finds the interesting things. So I'm so excited to see what all else he'll end up finding as time goes on here. But because I mean, we're in the Fabula Ultima right now. I mean, that's kind of cool to see. Can't wait to get into more of like an actual gameplay situation instead of just kind of going through the rules. Like, I want to get into the game already now.
Yeah. I think that one too, and we've talked about it on the channel. I mean, probably at least during the videos. But for me, Fabula Ultima seems like a very fun system to like learn, pick up and play a few times, and then like kind of that's it. I don't think it's like that's my dedicated system. Where you
Yeah.
got your Daggerhearts, your D&Ds, you know, those can be like the dedicated system situations. But Fabulous Ultima is definitely like fun and worth playing. I think it's just not one that you're gonna keep. I'm not gonna see that in the top five probably,
Yeah.
but
No.
it's a good solid game system. So,
Well, and it brings some interesting ideas to bear that you can actually try and use in some of the other systems, at least from the concept idea, anyways. I think there's a lot there, especially with the way that they talk about, getting into some of the transitions of play. I mean, that's great. That's a great way to just be like, and pull the curtain back and be like, okay, well, now we're getting more into a story situation. So that way it's established quite holistically in that point to say that this is a social encounter. Like, we're just talking here. And then you can transition into combat. Like you can do some of those things. And I like just some of those concepts that they do have with that, that allow you to kind of almost pull the curtain back on some of the things that are happening behind the scenes that you wouldn't otherwise get to enjoy.
yeah, it's very like, Japanese role playing game, like when you were a child and you're playing your Nintendo, It reminds me, one of my favorite things is the escalation part of that system where like the villain escalates and becomes stronger and stronger throughout the campaign. Like you're not only are you maintaining the same BBEG, but you're like growing with him with the story, making he's getting stronger. And so I thought that was really cool. Where Dungeons and Dragons usually your villain's just really strong at the beginning, and then you're like working your way up to try to challenge them. But
Yeah.
Five of the Ultimate, it's like the villain's growing with you, and I really like that. If you do that right, like it takes a better GM, I think, to like run a successful Fabulous Ultimate game. But if you can get that right, I think that game system is like super good if you do it the right way.
Well, to that point, though, with Daggerheart, actually, because of the way the tiers work and how you can actually increase the tiers of the adversaries as you go,
Right.
you
Good
could
title.
introduce a villain that's a tier 1 villain
Yep.
to your tier 1 party, and then as they grow in power and as your party grows in power, they're keeping pace with each other. I do like that idea actually a lot. Because I think I am a little too used to
encounter builds.
Yeah, well, I mean, seriously though, that's a great way to like build some of those encounters and to have those grow continuously without having to worry about them being at a set power always. Because I think that is a very D&D sort of idea. Is whatever their stat block is, that's just what they are. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Whereas with Daggerheart, there is that system that is there to help you increase that power for them as they go through the tiers. So I do like that a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have like built-in mechanics like that you can flex on.
Yeah. Well, shoot. Honestly, as far as like some of the alternates are concerned, we really did kind of go through those.
Yeah. Kind of just went off the rails on it, but yeah.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But I mean, there's so many ways to do it. I mean, we were just talking about Star Wars. The fact there were so many different systems just to play Star Wars, and somebody's putting together a Daggerheart Star Wars. I think it's a Kyberheart or something like that. I can't remember what they were calling it.
Cool.
But it's just the Daggerheart version of Star Wars at that point, which I'm not against. I find that I probably won't be playing that necessarily because I do enjoy the Genesis system for it. I think it can. We'll try it for sure at some point, but that's one of those things I don't think it'll be the mainstay. But I just love the way that a lot of people are trying to bring in those different settings into the different systems, which is what we try to do as well when it comes to a lot of our own stuff with the Cross Shield series and everything else. So definitely looking forward to more of the projects that we kind of have cooking in the background to bring forward and see what people think for that. So yeah, because we do have one planned later on into September, but that's more of a September issue.
Yeah.
So
There's so much we want to do. There's not enough time. The time's just flying by. But,
yeah. But how about I pull up the how about I pull up the calendar here so we can look at what all we did in July here. There we are. So July was pretty standard. It wasn't anything jam packed, but it was a pretty standard month for us, I would say. Not like June where we had the ooze week. But love seeing the Fabula Ultima starting up with that. Really a good series to kind of work into because I love the story that you guys have in the beginning of each of those videos. So yeah.
You know what's funny about that is that I just kind of had like a cheesy idea, and I was like, well, let me put this together, and then it kind of felt good and it worked, and then I was like, well, let's just kind of carry this through each video, and so I think for the channel and just for in general, if you're watching, please give comments or feedback here now or later. But that's I feel like it's value added to like focus on a narrative intro. The storytelling element of tabletop role playing games, right? That's what we all play for, really.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we like to get around the table with our friends, crack a beer, eat some snacks we shouldn't, but really it's the story. You want to be entertained. So hopefully that's something we can weave in throughout the channel here and there. But.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same goes for those DC-20 subclass videos. Love how quick those end up being in the end. Get you what you need and then keep moving. So yeah. And I know Fry and I are having a lot of fun with the actual builds for the classes because, man, some of those have gotten very interesting when we went through trying to optimize all these. So we've got the Ranger, I think, coming up next. So let's actually look at the next month here.
Yeah, those are super good and like fun to watch too. I like the way the layout is. I think
yeah, we've tried to do it more by the tiers rather than by the levels like we did in the first go-around. Hopefully to streamline things because whenever you do take your level up options is whenever you want to take them, but that way you're not stuck hearing each and every single level. But the Ranger was a fun one for sure, especially if you want an evasion build. Cannot go wrong with the Ranger there. The Rogue, though, brings a ton of damage. So I can't wait to get that one up there. So if you're a member, though, you do get to see a lot of these early. So once they get posted, you're just going to have full access to them. And they typically, as you can see here by the calendar, you'll see them post on those days. But if you're a member, you're going to get them so much earlier. So just putting that out there, as it were. But we also are starting...
$1.
Yeah, it's only $1.
$2.
No,
$1.
but we're starting our Star Wars Clone Wars stuff up because we're trying to bring about the Star Wars stuff a little bit more just for my own team at the moment, for my DJ guys, my deployment buddies, mainly because we don't always get together, when we do our actual main story. And so we wanted something that we could have that didn't require anyone to be there each and every single time. So if nobody shows up for the main story, that's fine. We don't have to play the main story. We can play a Clone Wars thing instead of our Edge of the Empire. And then they can just play normal clones, standard sheet, nothing special about them. And then once their character dies, they just take somebody, they just bring in a new clone until that squad is completely gone. So we're having a lot of fun with that one. So they just did a space battle with this one. So loving these a lot. Just a nice idea, though, I would say, if you don't have your members showing up to your table each and every single time, you may want to try something out where there's just a standard character sheet that they take, like a commoner or like a soldier or whatever, and then it's just a random one-shot that tells a larger story that you don't have to have everybody at the table for each and every single time. So just throwing that out there as an idea.
Cancel your session. Yeah. Just play
without them. Play without them. Don't cancel the session. Just play without them and just don't do the main story then. Until you have everybody around the table. Then you can guilt trip that person into coming next time because what the hell. But let's see here.
To jump on the DC-20 stuff, right? Like right there, the last projected video is on the 15th. So I'll probably have some more videos ready by then for everyone's awareness. It's not on the calendar right now, but there are big changes, right? They just announced in their Kickstarter update that they're working on the 0.10 changes with all the spells and kind of the progress. It's like a 3-phased approach, and they're in phase 2 right now. So we'll probably see some more on that. There were also some other changes to game mechanics, right? Which is another reason why we've not covered DC-20 as much, just because it's still evolving and changing so much. We don't want to just do videos that next week are irrelevant. So, but some of these more recent changes, I think, are going to be ones that stick. So we'll probably see a little bit on that in the future as well.
Well, one thing that I'm excited and looking forward to here in the middle of August is our werewolf Daggerheart supplement, you could say. I wanted to release on the 30th of August, but I want to get in like a little bit of a teaser for it. So we're going to do a little bit of a one-shot to kind of showcase what you can do with those Daggerheart transformations and how werewolf is actually really a fun one to bring in. So definitely have that coming along with getting back into the adversary encounter builds. So if you're really wanting to see how you can actually build some of those adversary encounters to be pretty deadly by comparison, and as well as all the way to easy, that's going to cover the spectrum for you. Bringing in, of course, the new rules and making sure that we're in line with that, but we're still going to keep with the easy, standard, challenging, and climactic power levels. So yeah, but that is the month of August, and that's our channel wrap up right there as far as the months are concerned. So we got a lot cooking at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, we do. And stick around for the future months, right? There's lots
Yeah.
lots planned in those future months as well. So if you like anything you see or think you will, then go ahead and like and subscribe and keep an eye on us.
Hell yeah. Yeah, but till then.
In the chat, Fry's in the chat said he's super excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the werewolf stuff is gonna be fun. So if you know World of Darkness and Grim Hollow, I'm just saying, werewolf. It's gonna be basically they had a kid in Daggerheart. That's gonna be essentially what you're getting into here. So yeah, but that's our monthly wrap up right there. I don't think there's anything we're missing. So y'all, until the next one, keep that shield wall strong.